Welcome back. In previous videos we talked about plan ahead, plan ahead, plan ahead. Take a look at a previous video and you'll see me saying that. What I mean by plan ahead is we have upcoming projects where we needed 1/2 inch rebar. We needed some 3/8 rebar. We're doing a lot of farm work. And like we said, we're going to show you how to do it on a budget using Craigslist, Facebook Marketplace, yard sales, anything. So every night we look at Facebook or Craigslist for a list of materials we have. We have a list, we go through it. And lo and behold, I saw 1/2 inch rebar, $1 a length. So when we look at a orange box or a blue box store, 4 foot length like this. This is actually 4.5 feet of 1/2 inch rebar. Ooh, 1/2 inch rebar is almost $5, depending on where you live. But in the Northeast area, this is almost $5. The rebar we got, 100 pieces, well over 100 at a 10 or 12 foot length. We'll show you a picture of that. And all of this that you see here, which is mostly 1/2 inch, there is a little bit of 3/8 here, which I like to use to tie the forms together. There's almost 100 pieces here at $5 a piece. Plus, don't forget, we got well over 100 pieces, 10 or 12 foot length. And in those, there's some 3/8, mostly 1/2 inch, and there's some 5/8. We saved hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of dollars. And I was able to drive out with Leo, and Kelly came with us. Wasn't it a good ride, Leo?
Yeah, it was. It was just cold, but
it was cold. You're right.
It was real
cold.
nice.
You know, it's the time of year. It is cold. Beautiful home the man had, and we drove in, and he met us outside and helped us load it up. But to our surprise, it wasn't just rebar that was in on this deal. He wanted to get rid of everything. He had some pipe. I'll show you a short piece here. I just cut this piece of pipe. Being a welder, you can tell it was still new. He didn't even have the plastic ends off. But being a welder for most of my life, not sure, you can leave in the comments below how you do it, but as a welder, I go by OD, outside dimension. A lot of electricians, plumbers, what have you, go by ID. So if we look at this pipe right here, we can see that it is 3/4 of an inch. OD, out of dimension. Very heavy wall, 3/4 inch pipe. So being a welder and realizing I don't like to weld on rusty metal all the time, we can do it. A little wire wheel and off we go. We're going to make a rack to hold all of this rebar that we got at a great deal. And you can see here, if you look, actually how much pipe was in the stack of rebar. And that's probably 10 foot lengths. Great stuff. We found out that this gentleman actually owned a nursery, 20, 30 acre nursery, whatever he had, and he just used a lot of this stuff. He retired, closed down the nursery, and didn't need it. Like we said, easy to bargain with people if they have stuff they don't want. We'll talk more about that in a few minutes. But what I want to do, being a welder for so long, I want to show you sort of a unique way that I like to join steel. So I took this piece of steel out here. If you can see, this piece here is 1 inch OD. Remember, I go by outer diameter. And we see this piece of steel here. This is something I had laying around the yard. And this is 1, 2, what's that? 2 1/4, 2 3/8 outer diameter. The way I like to join pipe, some people will take a hammer if they want to join 2 pieces of pipe together. Whoop. What I mean by that is if we want to take this piece of pipe and put it against that piece of pipe, there's big openings. And I'm not saying it's a wrong way, but some people will take and put this down and hit this side flat and then roll it over and hit that side flat, hold it up there, and just weld it together with two flat sides. Now that's okay. That's a good way of doing it. But being a welder for so long, I really like my craft, I like my trade. And if we were welding something this big together, do we really want to hammer it? Do we want to take a giant hammer and smash this till it's flat? What if I told you that we could notch this size pipe, we could notch this size pipe, we could notch this size pipe, we could notch any size pipe, and we don't need a pipe notcher. And we'll get a beautiful, beautiful notch each and every time, show off some nice welds, and it'll be even stronger. So instead of just having one flat weld, it'll be a nice notch. If you're interested, stay tuned. Leo and I are going to go in the house because it is freezing out. Yep. We just wanted to show you our great find, the huge savings in money. We'll add it up and let you know exactly how much we saved. I want to say if there's 100 lengths and we got them for $1 each, just those, and they're $12 each. So instead of $1,200, we paid $100. And if you look at all this 4-foot stuff, and there's 75 to 100 pieces of that, instead of paying $5, we paid, well, pretty much we got that for nothing. So there's another 100. So there's almost a $500 savings. That's a lot of money. Just by taking some time in Craigslist, taking a ride. We had a good time on the ride.
That was nice.
It was very nice.
It's very nice.
And so we're going to now go in the house, and we're going to draw up a type of rack we want to make with all this free pipe that came with the rebar. And I'll give you a hint on what we're going to do. I'm not even going to hint. I'll show you what we're going to do. And I'll even show you the tool we use to make the notch. Very simple. Anybody can do it. You ready? Hey guys, we came inside. It is way too cold outside. So this is going to be the design phase. We talk about planning, but if you could get something down on paper that everybody can understand, because like I said, I've been welding for over 30 years, and Theo's been welding for maybe a total of...
Twice,
okay.
Yeah. Which is not bad. It's just like now is the chance to learn more.
That's right. So what we're going to do is together, we're going to design a rack with that pipe we showed you. We're going to design a rack to hold that rebar off the ground. So what are you thinking, Leo?
I don't know. I don't know. You're going to make the rack, but I know it was explained to me, but I'm not sure how that will looks like.
So if we had a rack just like this, and we filled it up with stuff, it could tip over, right? Or if we start using all the stuff on one side, it gets heavier over here. So this is what my idea. If we have something, because we don't want this to take up a lot of room. We don't have a lot of room. We don't even have a garage yet. We just want to get this off the ground. So I'm thinking maybe 10 inches at the top. So this would be a piece of pipe 10 inches, right?
Yep.
And then to keep it tipping over, we can come down on an angle, just a slight angle on each side. So what do you think for a height? Well, like I said, we don't want this to be a monster. Let me clean this up while you're thinking of the height. So it makes it a little neater.
So it'll be something like that, the top one, right?
Yeah, it'll be about 10 inches wide.
Which is a lot of space for kind of big.
Yeah, I know we want it for rebar now, but down the road we might be storing wood or anything like that. Oh, you know what's a good idea too? If we have something flat like this and rebar is round, that top shelf isn't much use, is it? It's just gonna shoot right off the edge. So So we can come up here with a couple pieces of pipe, maybe 6 inches. That's a lot of space. 10 inches by 6 inches. That's a lot of space to fill.
Yeah.
With rebar. Now we're only going to design one leg right now, and then once we
But
get
no bar, you can put. I mean, we can use for whatever.
anything, pipe, wood. We got wood projects coming up. We have a lot of stuff coming up.
Be strong. Be
But
very
if we're,
strong.
yeah, well, we're going to make one leg right now, and if we all agree on the design, then I was thinking that we could have 1, 2, 3. This is looking at the side. 3 legs, maybe 9 feet long, 10 feet long, and then we can join them with pipe top and join with pipe on the bottom, and now we have enough material that we got for free to make a rack and store everything in. But do we want this to be permanent? Maybe. Or do we want it to be able to come apart?
I know everything he does, he likes to make that you can take apart, so you can move or use just the screws. And
Right, and if we're going to be showing everybody, YouTube is a teaching station.
how we're gonna do that, I have no idea.
All right, so
See,
this just came to me as we were talking. We have that other pipe that was a little bigger
yep.
because we talked about OD and ID. Being a welder, I like to say outer diameter, so we know this is 3/4 of an inch. 3/4 of an inch. And the other stuff, the other black pipe, was 3/4 of an inch ID that the gentleman had. Kel, you went with us on that ride, right?
Yep.
So if we take and cut, you see where each one of these pieces of pipe come together? If we cut small pieces of the pipe and weld it right here, but we cut a piece of this off, right? So this will be welded all along here, but this will be open. So if you looked at it from the front, it would look like this, with no top. That's what this would look
Oh,
like.
okay. Yeah.
So then we take this, so this pipe could sit right in it. I'll make it more 3D to see if that makes more sense. So it would look more like that, and this would all be welded onto this. And then we could take a piece of pipe and just lay it right in here, right? The other pipe would be laying right inside, and we could drill a hole right through
Oh, screw both together.
and put a bolt right through here. And then if we ever wanted to take this apart, we take the bolt out, and then we have 3 pieces. You might want to bring this outside if you have a big project. You might want to put it in your garage. Do you think you'd rather do this? Oh, we don't know yet, or whatever. Right?
That's really cool, because how I know it's gonna be maybe heavy.
This?
Yeah.
Well, that's a good
'Cause
point. But if you only
are
had,
you gonna move that or?
so if we had 1, 2, 3, 4.
And how long? I mean, how long take to make like this way?
To make one of these?
Yeah, like just cut, like you said, and put a.
Do you remember that saw, that chop saw?
Yeah.
That's what we're going to use to do this whole thing.
Okay.
So if we take this pipe and we turn it in the chop saw and we cut the top off, 30 seconds, we cut a whole big length of it
And just like
cut
make a hole.
pieces and drill a hole.
So why not?
You want to do that?
Yeah, sure.
There you go. Leo decided that's what we're going to do.
You're gonna make it portable?
Way more smart. Yes. So we can move, and because place change or ideas change, we want to get the easy way to move for other place. And
So these pieces,
new garage or something.
right, so we'll move it around, or
Yeah.
so one would be welded here, one on each side of this pipe, right? So you could see with all these bolts in it, it's not going to go anywhere. It can't move.
Yeah.
Another one welded here, another one welded here. So, I mean, I think that's the way to go. So back to this. All right, now we got that decided. We're going to make this portable. So now we can make one leg at a time.
Yep.
And I think we don't want stuff laying close to the ground because the ground is wet. Not everybody has concrete. Not everybody has cement. Some people have a dirt floor. So if we have a pipe here.
I was thinking about something to not make your bending too much on the ground, like bend your back too much to grab something.
Right.
If we make the bottom one a little bit, how high is gonna be from the ground?
I don't know. I'm just thinking of, let's draw it out and then we can decide.
Yep.
We can always change it. So we got one there, one there. We can put another one somewhere up in here. Maybe another one somewhere up in here. 1, 2, 3. Or maybe we can put another one in here. You know, spread these out. So, you know, this will be spread out.
Mm-hmm.
So we're going to have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 racks. Right? 5. So you had a good idea about making this. You're being new to this. How do you think that we should mount this? I know we're going to weld it, but how do you think we should weld it?
So the legs will be like this, right?
They're going to be, yep, they're going to be on an angle. But I want all this welded, so each leg is going to be something we can lay in a truck or take somewhere. I mean, you might want to go out and, the good thing about making it in 3 pieces, you don't have to use all 3. You can use just 2. Or if you decide, hey, 3 isn't enough, we can add another one. We can add another one. We can keep adding. But I'm thinking maybe a lot of times we get material 10 feet, 12 feet. I'm thinking maybe overall we only want to make this 9 feet. That's why I'm only saying 3 legs. You know?
Yep.
But that's just for now. We can add, and then where we're making this removable, we can always cut these shorter. Or...
Right.
But back to my question. How do you think we should weld these arms here that are going to be holding all the weight of that pipe onto these legs? Any ideas?
Because first, the pipe will not touch the same way if the legs was straight up.
Right. That's correct, because of the angle.
It's going to be the angle. So we're going to cut the pipe.
Yep.
Cut it.
Yep. So we need 40 inches. We know we want 40 inches to here. And we know we want these centered. We're going to make our measurement center line on each pipe. So this will be to the center of each pipe. But I see a lot of people, what they like to do, and there's no right or wrong way. This is the way I've been doing it, and what's worked for me forever, is if you have a piece of pipe right here, and you want to weld it to another piece of pipe right here, how do you weld that piece of pipe to that piece? Do you just hold it up against it and fill that in with weld?
That will not be strong, right?
It won't be, and let me show you why. I cut a couple of pieces of pipe, and I brought them in. It's rusty. We're welders. We're used to it. If you take this piece of pipe and put it on that piece of pipe, what do you got?
Right, I mean,
Pretty good gap.
just feel with the welding
You
around.
You could.
Does it look strong, or I don't know?
It's strong, but it's not as much surface as I like, and it's going to be, that's pretty square. It's going to be like that.
Right. That's what it's gonna be weird because
So
how are you gonna fill the welding at the bottom?
well, I know a lot of people might take this and put it on a vise, hit this side with a hammer, hit that side with a hammer, make them both flat, and then if they were flat, instead of being way out like that, it would be more like that. you know, if you made it flat so it's only as wide. This is soapstone. If anybody knows, I highly recommend drawing with soapstone. So we need it here and here. So we're looking for roughly the middle of the pipe. And we want to have this welded. So we'd have to flatten this out a lot. So I've never seen the regular black iron crack. I don't think it would. But a lot of these pipes have a seam. This one doesn't. Oh, watch out for this when you cut it. A lot of you old-time welders will out there when I know say, watch out for that rag. Watch out for that rag. That'll grab you. Just take and grind that off. You can see I didn't do it in there. So anyway, back to what we were saying.
It's been 14 minutes, just letting you know.
He's going to edit. You're going to edit anyway, right?
Yeah.
So what I like to do, let's start simple. Okay, let's start right here. Let's start with our 10-inch piece and our 2 uprights. Want to start with there?
Yep.
Okay. I cut that at 10 inches already. And we're going to make this one of our uprights. Let me put my pencil here to stop that from rolling. So if we're going to make this an upright, we have the same problem, don't we? We got all that we have to fill with a welding rod. Now with 3/4 inch pipe, it's not too bad, but what I told outside is I'm going to show you how you can do my method on 3/4 inch, 1 inch, 2 inch, 3 inch. You start getting a pretty good gap. So what I like to do is I like to make a center mark on the pipe on this side, and then I kind of transfer it over, and then I make a center mark on this side of the pipe. So now we know those 2 marks, because when we have the pipe this way and then we turn it, we want to make sure.
Mm-hmm.
So then we measured our pipe already, and we know that it's 3/4. Half of 3/4 is what, school teacher?
So it's 1.5 quarters.
1.5 quarters. Well, we in the trades wouldn't yell out to each other, cut something at 1.5 quarters. We would say, how about 3/8? So what I like to do, can I see the tape measure for a second?
Sure.
What I like to do is, my tape measure is broken, sorry. What I like to do is measure down 3/8 of an inch. 1, 2, 3/8. That's between there, and then again on this side, 3/8. You can do it anywhere. Make sure that's pretty close. And don't forget, this is welding. We can fill our mistakes, unlike the carpenters. They need a lot of wood, glue, and putty. So there's a 3/8 mark. And you can do this on any size pipe. This is my quick and down and dirty. You don't need a pipe notcher. You don't need... I'll tell you what you can get. If you don't have anything available and you want to try this project, you can go to the freight store. Everybody has one of those around, right?
Right.
Something freight, whatever it's called. Wink, wink, nod, nod, something freight. And they have a grinder, and you can get cutting wheels. I think the grinder is $9, and you can get a package of cutting wheels. Or I use a chop saw. Looks like a wood saw, but it's a chop saw. So I take my chop saw blade, and I put it right here, and I cut so it comes to the outside of that mark. And that's what it's going to look like. It's going to come just like that. So I just hold my chop saw and cut it. We have a video of cutting with a chop saw.
We do.
We're going to insert that so you can see the chop saw. And then, well, that's one side done. Now we have, that's why I said you need to write on both, because after we turn it, we need to know when we put it in, is it too much this way? Is it too much? So now we come back on this side of the line with our chop saw, find the angle, and that'll look like that.
So we're gonna do a V.
Yeah, you would think that's pretty difficult, right? But literally, it's just a straight cut. It's just straight down. And through the magic of TV, I made one already. There's my straight line, right there. There's my straight line on the other side. there's my line here. And, well, that's the thing about soapstone. Kind of comes off, but you can see the lines. And when I had this in the saw, on the angle I wanted, I just cut straight through, turned it over, and cut straight through. And then, here's the perfect
Seems like
notch. So you say, ha, why is that a perfect notch? Well,
we can call that the bird, a baby bird mouth.
you want to call this a baby bird?
Mouth when they open the mouth to got food.
Okay.
You know, when they say like.
Right. So you know what that's what, thank you. We'll call it the baby bird. I've been doing this for 35 years and never had a name for it.
Yeah. Look.
Now I can call this, hey, the baby bird. I like that. So you can see that where we have, and I'm going to give you a good comparison, because if we welded this on the flat, we would have, well, roughly 3/4 of an inch of weld, right? No, we'd have half of it. So we'd weld from here over to here. So let's see how long that weld is. Roughly less than an inch of weld on each side of that piece of metal, if we just butt it up like that. But using the baby bird method, we can see the way that fits. Everybody see that?
Be all the way around.
See the baby bird fit?
Yep.
The baby bird goes in there, and now we start welding here in the middle again, and we weld up, and we weld around, and we come back down to the middle. We have now that much weld, and it's not all on a straight line in one spot of the pipe. All the weight's being transferred all the way through different parts of that pipe.
Yeah, and it's going all around the back as well, right?
Yep. But I'm saying, how much for one side?
Both sides. Oh,
Now
yeah.
that
Oh,
first
yeah.
one was 1 inch of weld.
It's a way stronger.
This is roughly inch and 3/8 of weld. So just that little bit using the baby bird. So if we look here, here's our 10-inch piece. You know what? How about you give me 1 second and I'll make this look like a better drawing. Is that okay? So we can follow it a little better?
Yep.
Yep.
All right. There we go. A little better drawing. And if you notice, Leo was asking me, how do you stop this from sinking in the ground if we have dirt? And I said, good point. We're going to put little steel plates on here. Probably 2 inch.
It's got to be a square, right?
Just a square piece of plate. 2 inches welded to the bottom, and that'll sit nice and flat wherever you go. So that's what those are. You can see here's our center mark. We're going to measure, and you can see instead of butting up, now it goes all the way around and into the pipe.
Yeah.
Into the pipe. We got all of that weld instead of butting up. So this will be a good example up top. Here's the 10-inch piece. And the baby bird's going to come flying in.
And trying to eat the pipe.
Yep, and it will be mounted right there. Right on the pipe.
It's very nice.
Yep.
So,
It doesn't matter what size pipe you
Nice.
have. If you follow the simple rule of measure 3/4 inch pipe, take half your distance, and then go down that far. If you had 3-inch thick pipe, 3-inch thick pipe, measure down 1.5 inches. Measure down 1.5 inches, put your line, and make the cuts down to 1.5 inches, and they'll come out exactly like that. Now you fill that weld in, grind it all up. So you were mentioning something earlier that was very interesting. This isn't straight. This is on an angle. So if
Right.
we did baby bird on an angle, what do we got? That's not going to work very well, is it? Looks good up top. That looks real nice, right?
yeah, but the bottom is not touching.
The bottom is not touching. So what do? What do you think we got to do?
Do some cuts again?
Yep. So what we're going to do is measure not from the center how long we want these pipes. We know we wanted this one 10 inches, but we don't want to measure. We want to measure from our long point, which would be, this is before the notch, so it would be just one piece of pipe, right?
Yeah.
I showed the notch, but this would be, so we measure to the middle of the longest point. We say, oh, okay, that's going to be, I don't know, let's make up a number, 14 inches. So we don't want it, that's going to be our long point. So we can cut this 14 inches if we want. And then we can always measure up and find out, okay, where is that mark? And then we could trim these again. So we know they got to be cut on this angle. So this little bit has to be cut off. And then we do the same thing. We measure 3/8 of an inch from here. This is our center line. This is our center line. Nothing's changed. And we measure 3/8 of an inch. We're going to have, the saw is going to be, when we watch, it's going to be 3/8 to this height. And this one's going to be down because it's going to be cut, so it'll be 3/8. It'll make more sense once we show it.
Right.
But it's the same process as cutting straight. We still measure down the 3/8 and the 3/8 and join the line on this side and join the line on that side. And we'll still have the same groove. But I'm sad to say, Leo, we've got a 9-inch snowstorm tonight. We've got another 4 to 6 in a couple of days. I'm glad we planned.
Yeah.
And
We're not gonna be able to welding right now, but
we have a good plan.
after the storm, right?
After the storm, we'll get it all welded up and we'll show you how we make one leg.
But anything, all this was for free. We got for free. And like,
It was a surprise, wasn't it? When we unloaded the rebar and this was just in there.
right. And more extra pipe to build all the rack that we need. So that was amazing.
Kelly, did you like that guy that helped us out loading the truck? He seemed pretty nice.
Yeah, he was very friendly.
Yep.
He had cute dogs.
We look at Craigslist or Facebook Marketplace or go to yard sales and stuff like that, but we're going to tell you how we do it, and we're going to video a lot of encounters that we have to show people.
Yep.
But this rebar, great time, worked out great, nice gentleman. We got extra, we're making a pipe, we're going to make a rack, and
We are ready to starting welding this. We're gonna make a whole video.
now, Leo, can you hold that? Leo is going to enjoy welding that because I already know I can do it.
Right.
And I know you can do it, but you have to learn that you can do it, right?
Yeah.
And I know you can.
And ready welding twice, so why not make this one? That'll be good. Exciting.
Yay.
That's my project. If you like it, the video, please subscribe in our channel for more. And comment, leave your comment below about any other idea that we can starting welding or building.
Or what you think of this idea.
Yeah.
And wait till you see what we're going to be doing with that rebar.
Thanks for watching and see you guys in the next video.